So now you've got the clarinet put together, we need to learn how to fasten on the reed. The reed looks like this. Usually you start out with a box of 10. I have a fancy reed case, but most kits, they come in little plastic cases to start out with. And reeds don't have an indefinite life. They wear out after time, they can chip or break, at which point they're really useless. So you want to take really good care of your reeds. They should last a couple weeks if you're rotating a few of them. So the first thing you have to do is soak the reed, and the easiest way to do that is to put it in your mouth. So when I'm setting up my clarinet, I usually rest the reed in my mouth for about a minute. You don't want to suck aggressively on it, you just want to place it on your tongue and let it sit there while you set up the clarinet. When I soak the reed, I put it about more than halfway in my mouth. You don't want to suck aggressively on the reed or it's going to change its shape. It needs to stay nice and flat. You just kind of set it on the tongue and let it sit in there until it's wet. You can also soak it in water, but most professional. I've already soaked mine a minute ago, but you'll want to do that for 1 full minute. We need to fasten the reed onto the mouthpiece so that it vibrates, and that vibration is what produces a tone. There's a flat end to the mouthpiece and a flat side to the reed, and they match. So you want the reed to be going against the mouthpiece, not in it, not backwards, but flat side to flat side. And then we're going to fasten it in place with something called a ligature. This is a standard metal student ligature, and there are lots of different designs for ligatures, so yours might look a little different than this one. Once you get the reed in place on the mouthpiece where you want it, then the ligature slides over and tightens. Once you have the ligature in position, but it's still loose, then you just tighten the 2 screws. This ligature is designed to screw in the front. There are some ligatures that actually are designed to screw in the back, and still others that don't have any screws at all. Most beginners will have a ligature that looks like this. However, if yours does screw in the back, just be aware that the screws are always on the right side. So if yours is designed to be in the back, it'll be on the right side in the back of the mouthpiece. But most of them look like this. Now you don't want the reed to be up too high. If it's up too high and you see it in the back of the mouthpiece, that's not going to play well. If it's down too low and you see a gap at the top, that's not going to play well. And if it's to the right or the left too far, it's not going to play well. So you want it to line up exactly with the shape of the mouthpiece. And avoid ever really touching the whole tip of the reed because the tip is paper thin and very delicate. They break very easily. So once the reed is where you want it, you can hold it in place with your thumb, and you can put the ligature over the reed, position it with your thumb a little more, and when you have it where you want it, you can tighten the screws. There's another way too. Students are having trouble with chipping and cracking. Sometimes I tell them, put the ligature on first, loosen it, and then back the reed into the mouthpiece and ligature so that you're never touching the tip. That way you won't snag the tip on the ligature as you're putting it on. So that's another way, alternately, to put that together. Once you have it where you want it, the ligature is a little bit below this slope, and you tighten it and you're ready to go.